Every time our athletes walk into this weight room, they're going to be pushed to the max.
Let's go! Let's go!
The barbell hasn't changed in over 100 years. I can take a 25-pound plate, and we'll go out on the turf, and I'll have you hating life. We talk about straining your gut, pushing past that comfort level. I want a lot of energy. What better breeding ground is there for being a success in life than the weight room?
Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Coach Mac. This is episode number 61, and I'm excited to be coming to you from Kansas City, Missouri, in front of the Nelson Atkins Art Museum. This is just one of the coolest places I came as a kid, and had breakfast with my family this morning, my sister, my brother, their kids, and my mom, and just enjoy being home. And it's just a beautiful place, and so wanted to shoot a quick video. Won't be very long today. Just to answer a couple questions. Like, again, I just try to share my adventures with you guys, and just got the blessing and opportunity to be able to do these things. And so I want to jump right in just quickly. It's not the best day in Kansas City, just a little overcast and some light rain and whatnot, but again, just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of my adventures. So first question comes from Andy. He says he struggles with plyometrics and understanding how complex it can be. Started to use basic exercises, and basically just wants to know if there's any resources that I recommend. And honestly, Bobby and Adam Fight put together a product called Complete Jump Training. I think it's a fantastic product. That would be my go-to resource. Just got done rereading for the third time Functional Training for Sport by Mike Boyle. He also does a great job. So those would be the two resources that I recommend. But basically, you always want to work on the landing. You want to work on the landing to a stick, or jumping to a stick, a jumping to a mini hop, a jumping with a counter movement, and then start working on your depth jumps, and then your depth jumps to jumps as you go through your progression. Then work to single leg jumps and single leg landings. And so I think in your question you asked specifically about single leg. I think it's important to make sure that you go through all your strength progressions first, and then all your jump progressions, and progress to that. But those would be the two resources that I'd highly recommend, and I would check those out. Lynch asked about in-season soccer players, and has a trouble. He's got twice a week to train an athlete that's got a 3-year training age, and just struggling how to maintain strength and power and conditioning during that time. And so what I would say is this: it's just again, this is kind of a Mike Boyle buckets idea. During the season they're getting lots of conditioning, they're getting lots of running, and even in the off season with soccer, a lot of times they get those things. So I would recommend not worrying so much about the conditioning element. I think if you most of the time in soccer they use what's called topping off. So if you have an aerodyne or a rower or something like that, and get in some conditioning sprints in, it doesn't take much. Do your 30-15 or your 15-30, and get some conditioning in. But for the most part, I would focus on strength and power with a block system. Joe Kinn's tier system is what I highly recommend. He does a fantastic job of kind of putting it out there in a really concise way. And so basically what you would be doing on a 2-day split would be rotating a max effort with a dynamic effort with a repetitive effort movement. And so you could have an emphasis for the day. I would probably keep my total body movements, my dynamic effort for both days, and I would work on my max effort movements being an upper body day and a lower body day for an emphasis. And then your repetitive efforts, just rotating those again, just to make sure that you're getting a total body workout. Principle of reversibility is that you have to train every 72 hours or there starts to be a detraining effect. So I would get those in, again, spread those out every 72 hours. Total body lifts, you should be able to maintain your strength and power by doing that, and by keeping your dynamic effort movements in, keep your power where you want it to be. So take that bucket approach and get those in. I think that would be fantastic. Jesse asked, and I'm wondering whether you have any tips or advice on what more I can do to assist my chances in securing a position in the U.S. I'm assuming Jesse is obviously coming from a different country. Oftentimes what I recommend, Jesse, is if you have the money and you have it stocked away, then I would recommend doing an internship and coming over and finding the way to do that. Just basically reaching out to different coaches, offering your services for free, putting yourself up and all those types of things. It's just such a surplus of coaches in the U.S. that you're ultimately gonna need to be able to overcome the networking piece by volunteering and showing how much that you want it, that you have a desire, that you bring a unique skill set and those types of things. Now, one thing I have recommended in the past and recommend as well is, rather, if you don't have a whole lot of money, you can just come for maybe a week or two. I recommend kind of doing what I call mini internships, identifying 3 or 4 places that you would like to go, show up for 2 days and, just, offer your services again, and just work, just grind, be the first one there, be the last one to leave, get to know the coaches, get to know the staff, and go to different places, because oftentimes it's about just getting to know people and letting them get to know you. And so by doing that, you improve your chances, because instead of just going and interning with one person, you would be getting a chance to get to know 4 different staffs or 5 different staffs or whatever it may be. And so I'd recommend doing that. And that way, again, most of the time U.S. coaches are not going to hire people they don't know. Typically they have connections and will hire from within and don't want to go and explore what they would need to do to overcome just green cards and visas and all those types of things. So you need to first make sure you make that simple on them, but then also just get to know as many as you can, and I think that's a good way to do it. Last question here before we jump off. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out who it's from here. Ben asked, let's see, recently I've seen an influx of strength and conditioning jobs overseas, UK, Australia, China. As a seasoned strength coach, I was wondering if you had any advice for someone who was looking to get a strength job in another country, websites, foreign job markets, things like that. I mean, there are some headhunting firms, and honestly I don't know the names of them off the top of my head, but they do have some headhunting firms that look for strength coaches, and so I would explore those and just keep an eye out on those. Oftentimes you'll see those on like the ASCA, the Australian Strength and Conditioning Association's website, or UKSCA's website. Those are 2 great websites to check out and to keep an eye open for jobs as well. But I would say it's not a whole lot different than the U.S. I mean, there's starting to become a surplus of coaches in other countries as well, and so getting to know coaches, network, and all that, goes the opposite. Just what I answered earlier. Have the opposite for that effect. Go over there, visit for 2 weeks, network around, go to one of those national conferences. I think is a great way to start to kind of get your name out there and your desire to go and work overseas. But I would reach out to as many coaches as go visit as many different places you can, pay attention to those websites. And then the other thing that you got to consider is, if you want to go to another country and work overseas, the UKSCA and Australian, I know those are those certifications, especially with China, those certifications are ran more by the government, and so I think occasionally you could get in with your CSCS and maybe get grandfathered in, things lines, but you're going to have to be prepared to take their exams as well. And in a lot of ways, they're doing some really good things over there, and so you got to be prepared. You got to study, and you have to make sure that you know what they're looking for. But I would start with the governing bodies, check their websites out for jobs, and then start to reach out to them, pay attention to those firms that some of these places are using. I'd reach out to the institutes of sport in those countries, maybe places that you're wanting to go, and make your desires known there as well. So hope that helps, guys. I'm gonna jump off again, just gonna go enjoy the day with the family and whatnot. But what a beautiful place. Again, Kansas City. If you ever have a chance to come to this city, it's my hometown, where I'm from, and just think the world of it. So take care, guys. Thanks to our sponsors for their support, and I appreciate you guys listening each and every week and sending your questions in. If you would, share this, Like it on Facebook, like my Facebook page, as I shoot these oftentimes live, but when I'm on location, sometimes it's just easier to jump on the video like this. So leave questions below, send them in, and I'll make sure to answer them on the next episode. Take care, guys. Have a great day. See you.